As far as Hannah knew, there were 7 brands of magic: animal, heart, nature, water, air, fire, and sun. Alex was a sun mage, but she wasn't really sure what he could do. Actually, there were really only the first 6 kinds of mages abroad in the land. Alex's talents were unique to their family line, and probably came from their ancestors who'd immigrated from an empire called Azela. The only bothersome thing about being a mage, in Hannah's opinion, was that she had to keep it a secret. Years ago, even before she was born, there was widespread prejudice against mages had become a serious problem. There were even people in Hirseth, Kariah, and Surtesh that had called for an ejection of the mages. Hannah's grandfather, King Alexander II, had devised in secret a plan to help alleviate the trouble. Hannah's father had married Johann, a girl with no proper upbringing and a master animal mage, which was just about the same as being nobility. The mages in the kingdom knew who she was, but her talents were kept a secret from the rest of the people. It had been the intention to eliminate the mage persecution and then reveal Johann as the master she was, but she died before it could happen. Hannah still didn't know exactly how the plan would have worked. So now, in order for Hannah to go out and enjoy mage festivals, she had to dress down and act like a regular person. Of course, she did that whenever she was running around with her city friends anyway. It made her feel like more of a person. Whenever she was in the castle, she was bowed and courtesied to, and it gave her the feeling that she was something more like a statue. When Hannah could see the city, she encouraged Alonso to a canter. The wood and brick buildings of Vorna were adorned with vibrant green and yellow flags, and even from the road Hannah could hear music and laughter. She guessed that the city was filled to the brim with mages, come to celebrate summer. Mages often had festivals like this, days to celebrate anything from good weather to a newborn baby. Hannah left her horse to graze in a fenced pasture on the edge of the city, grateful that mages were honest enough that she could leave her saddle and tack on the fence and not worry about it being stolen. She didn't even have to bother about money here. Mages traded with things that had more personal value, like a skill or a handcrafted item. The different traditions and lifestyles of the mages had certainly got Hannah off guard the first time she tried to buy a trinket from the festival. As Hannah wandered through the city, she admired handiwork, dodged rambunctious children, and watched as many different people showed off their talents. "Get us in large groups and we can't help showing off," Hannah thought with a smile. One man was standing on a street corner, juggling flaming swords, and judging by the way the flames kept changing color, he must have been a fire mage. Eventually, Hannah found herself in the city square, where a lot of the noise and music was coming from. The square was full of dancers, young and old, laughing and keeping up to the lively tune. Hannah waited on the sidelines, watching the partnered dancers and waiting for the next song to start before joining in. Across the crowd, Hannah could see Jade twirling gracefully with a tall youth with curly black hair. He probably wasn't as tall as he seemed, but Jade made anyone look tall when they stood next to her. Hannah laughed and skipped around the edge of the square in time with the music, wanting to say hello to her friend between songs. The dance finished with everyone in 3 intertwined circles, and everyone applauded the musicians. There was a lull as those playing took a short break, and Hannah waved and called out to get Jade's attention. "You finally made it!" The 2 girls hugged. "Well, it wasn't easy," Hannah said, making a face. "That meeting was completely pointless. They were just bickering about things they'd already decided." "That's politics for you." Jade shook his head. Hannah laughed, and then noticed the young man Jade had been dancing with. Now that she could see him properly, she realized he was rather handsome. "Who's that?" Jade glanced behind her, where Hannah had pointed. "His name is Caden. He's from Azela, and knowing him is more trouble than he's worth. Trust me." "Well, I think you'll have a hard time keeping him away from me," Hannah said with amusement. "He's coming this way." "Only because you're looking at him!" Jade tried to lead Hannah away, but it was too slow. You didn't tell me you had any friends coming, Caden said when he drew level with the girls. He had a light, lilting accent that didn't fit his stature at all. Aren't you going to introduce me? Jade rolled her eyes, but obliged. Caden, this is my best friend, Hannah. Hannah, this is the idiot, Caden. Caden pretended to look hurt. I'm no idiot. I'm nothing less than a blithering dunderhead. Jade acted as though she hadn't heard him. And he's nothing but a huge flirt, so don't believe a word he says. Such insults today, Caden shook his head sadly. Where are the star people teaching their children these days? Actually, she learned it from me, Hannah joked, lifting her chin. I'm the wittiest person you'll ever have the pleasure to meet. Well, then I think you and I will get along just splendidly, don't you? Caden bowed and offered his hand, with great exaggeration, as another song started up. Hannah, recognizing the tune, grinned. Yes, good sir. She took his hand with equal fervor. I do believe we'll have the city in ruin by the end of today.